You may have also seen the reporting this weekend about a woman, an evacuee from Afghanistan, who literally gave birth to a baby on board one of the U.S. military C-17 evacuation planes just after it landed at Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany. It's just a crazy story. It puts your heart in your throat to know that this woman was this pregnant, this close to delivering when she got herself and her family on board that C-17, and then to have given birth on the tarmac on board the plane. U.S. servicemen and women racing on board that cargo plane, delivering the baby right then and there on board the plane before they were even able to disembark her. Mother and baby are both reportedly doing fine. But I have to tell you, that dramatic situation this weekend led to this question and surprise answer at the Pentagon press briefing this afternoon. I don't know if you've seen this footage today. It started one way and then went dramatically off the rails to the surprise of everybody except one person in the room. And went off the rails not in a bad way, but in a way that definitely makes me want to know more. Watch.
I'm Terace Garnier with Newsy. General Lyons, are medics being provided for each flight? I know there's a concern about capacity because you're trying to get as many people on, but are medics being provided? And the reason why I ask that is because there are reports that a woman had a baby during one of the flights. And so do you have medics that will be on board that will be able to handle any sort of emergency situations that may come up if someone has a baby or, falls and gets sick or something in that instance?
Yeah, it's a great question. We do not have medics on every flight. There is a medical screen as part of the screening and boarding process, but I'll confess to you that many people would have to self-identify any kind of medical issue. Really exciting. I mean, I really appreciate the news reporting on the baby being born as that flight came into Ramstein. Matter of fact, there's actually been more than that, so it's just an incredible operation ongoing. Just impressive work by our great airmen.
All right, so
follow up. Yeah, what did you mean by that?
I'm sorry?
What did you mean by more than that?
Okay, more than one baby? How many babies?
So they're asking if there were more than one baby. No other babies, sir?
My last data point was 3. I don't have a formal tracker, but those are the, so we'll keep you posted.
All right, sir. All right, well, we'll follow up and try to get you information on the other 2.
Your other reporters go, wait a second, did he say there's been more than that? Does he mean, when he says more than that, he means more babies? There's more little babies? Somebody actually says, there's more little babies? There's more than one baby? Admiral John Kirby, obviously flummoxed by this as well. Did you just say 3 babies, sir? We'll get more on the baby situation. We learned that there wasn't just one baby born on one of these flights, one of these evacuation flights this weekend at Ramstein in Germany, but the general who you were briefing with actually said there's been 3 babies born in these circumstances?
Yeah, that's right. He surprised everybody, including me, on that. This is General Steve Lyons. He's the commander of U.S. Transportation Command. And we wanted him to come in and talk to our press corps about the incredible logistics effort that is going into moving these thousands of people out of Afghanistan into temporary safe havens elsewhere as they work their way back to the United States. And right at the end of the briefing, he got asked about the one baby that we knew had been born, because there were great photographs of that, of course. And he let it slip that, in fact, actually 2 others had been born. So we and the press corps here at the Pentagon are trying to chase down the details on that, because it's just a great story and just another indication of the humanity and the professionalism and the kindness with which U.S. military members are really treating their important evacuation work.
It also tells you about the humanity and the desperation of the people who are getting out. I mean, for somebody to be not just pregnant, but pregnant upon the moment of potentially delivering, somebody who's going to go into labor during the flight, and still at that moment putting themselves in peril, taking their fragile selves and their families and getting themselves on board one of those military transports. I mean, the extremists that these women and their families are in to be able to do this, it does make me wonder about the kinds of medical resources that are being made available to these refugees, the kinds of resources that they need once they land, how long they're staying at the initial place they first land once they're taken out of Afghanistan. What can you tell us about that?
So there's some initial medical screening at Kabul before they get onto a flight. We want to make sure that they're okay. So there's some medical treatment there. There are, and the general said this, there's no medical personnel on these flights. We're saving every available space for passengers, for people that want to get out, who are, as you rightly said, Rachel, desperate to leave. So we're not putting medical personnel on these flights. But then when they get to these temporary safe havens or staging bases, if you will, for onward movement, they again are evaluated for any medical issues and given a chance to get some more screening there. And then, of course, when they get back to the United States, we go through that again. We definitely screen them for COVID at some of these staging bases. All of them are getting screened for COVID when they get to the United States. Right now, they're coming into Dulles, and then so there's constantly throughout the process medical personnel that are trying to look after them as best we can.
Is there going to be a sort of call to the American people and to civil society organizations in the United States to help resettle people, to do community resettlement efforts, to donate things that these new families may leave, to find them housing, to get them in English as a second language courses if they're going to be resettling here? I mean, I know that not everybody's going to be coming to the United States, but thousands are. Is there a call now from the U.S. government, indeed from the Defense Department, for the American people to step up and help?
Well, we're actually starting to see that, Rachel. I mean, certainly lots of non-governmental organizations are already helping the State Department and the DHS as these Afghans are ready to move into American society. They're already going to relocation centers and getting help starting their new lives. Absolutely. But the commanding general of Fort Bliss, Texas, where some have already gone for the follow-on final paperwork that they have to complete before they can become citizens, has said that he's been deluged with phone calls and emails from the people living outside Fort Bliss, Texas, just wanting to know what they can do blankets, food, whatever they can do to help. So we're already starting to see the American people in many of these communities really reach out and want to do what they can to help what will be their future fellow citizens.
I will tell you just anecdotally from our experience, we're just a cable news show that covers this process, and that's covered some individual stories of people who have been evacuated with their families, and we have been inundated with requests just from our viewers in terms of how they can help. And so I know that you're in a different role as the press spokesman at the Pentagon, but I think there is a real hunger among the general public watching this to want to step up and do something, especially as we learn more about how hard these flight crews are working and how hard these thousands of U.S. troops are working to try to make the best of this very difficult situation. I do think there is public appetite to do something, to sort of put our money where our mouth is, to be part of this process in some way. I don't know if that's, I doubt we'll hear that from you at the podium, but I do feel like we have to hear that from the administration, from the government in some way, because that needs to be channeled in some way. It's too valuable to leave on the table, it seems to me.
No, I agree, Rachel. And I think, this is what's quintessentially so great about our country. Americans are a generous lot, and we are an immigrant nation, and we are used to these stories, as sad and desperate though they may be, and we are used to reaching out to people that are in need and really want to start a new life here. So I think, just that one little base in Texas is just one small example. I think you're going to see that all over the country. And again, that's one of the great things about living in this country, and I think these Afghans, that'll be something that they take away too.